I think that people are much closer to being the person they believe they ought to be than they think they are. Most of the time, I think people are much closer to being the person that they ought to be than they think they are. I think that people think they're very far away from being the person they want to be. But they're a few steps away from just doing a couple of the right things a little bit consistently until they get there. You have here laid out 4 things that, if followed, will help start this path of actually becoming the person that people believe they want to be, whatever that is for them.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I agree with that.
What's the first one?
The first thing to take away before we dive into these 4 things is often when we want to create some sort of change, transformation, it's starting with awareness, right? So the awareness that we create when we teach our clients is the process is be, do, have. So be is we gotta identify the traits, attributes, the characteristics of the type of person that I want to be before I start taking the action. This is why you listening to this, you might have clients who they achieve a goal and then they lose all of the progress afterwards because they did a really good job of doing all of the things, but they never made the decision to become the type of person who would be able to do and then sustain all of the things.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
So the first pillar that we have here, and the first thing that I want people to take away from this is often when your clients are going to come to you or you're thinking about becoming a new version of yourself, you're going to use language or a word like change. Like, I just want to see a change. What all change really is it's taking something and doing it differently. So if I take a triangle and I flip it upside down, I've changed that triangle.
Okay. So it's like rearranging the furniture.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great analogy. What they're really looking for and what you're really looking for is transformation.
I see.
So you take that triangle and you turn it into a square.
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's deciding, it's not rearranging the furniture. It's getting rid of the furniture, getting new furniture.
New furniture. Mm-hmm. I understand.
Maybe even a new place. Like it's actual transformation.
Okay.
That's what we look for here. And
caterpillar to a butterfly.
Yeah, I love that.
Tadpole to a frog.
There you go.
Pikachu to a Raichu.
Nice. Good pull.
Is that where we're going?
Yeah.
All right, I follow.
Just like that.
Yeah.
That's transformation.
I'm impressed with that last one.
That was pretty good. I'm impressed with it as well. Good
there was
pull.
a moment of desperation hoping I would remember what the next one was, but I think I got it.
You nailed it.
There isn't a third, is there?
Not for Pikachu, if I remember correctly.
All right, moving right along.
All right. So principle number 1, transformation versus change. Okay. Principle number 2 is often when people want to make these sorts of transformations, we can identify a fundamental flaw. And the fundamental flaw is we get trapped in our perception of reality. So if there were a number on this table that was a 6, it looked like a 6 to me. It looks like a 9 to you. Mm-hmm. If I am convinced that this number is a 6 and you're convinced that this number is a 9, we are both trapped in our perception of reality here.
I see.
Perspective is really what we want. So perspective would be the third person standing over there where the camera is and seeing that this is both a 9 and a 6.
And these two people are idiots.
Yeah, right.
I got it.
So that plays very well with the change and transformation thing, right? Because if I'm convinced that this is the way that it is, you're convinced that it is the way that it is, and it can't be both things, we're in conflict here.
I see this as so fundamental. In my role in sales, I see this as so fundamental to the reason that people don't do things.
Say more.
Well, I'm thinking about the people that say, I would love to do this, but just my finances don't work. Dude, if finances were the reason, if finances were the difference between people becoming wealthy when they never were, rags to riches wouldn't exist as a phrase. Mm-hmm. It's like my perception is that I have this amount in my bank account, and here's what that means. Mm-hmm. Perspective would say, well, the government's printing money.
Yeah.
So just use someone else's.
Right.
Oh, you don't want to because you feel weird about that? That's your problem. Mm-hmm. It's not that you don't have money.
It's you being trapped in your perception. And us as coaches and professionals, we are on a daily basis attempting to provide our clients with perspective rather than them in their perception.
Okay, helpful.
The third thing that we can talk about here, and we've done podcasts on this before, so we'll be very quick, is the difference between the victim mentality and creator mentality. Right? If we're really seeking this transformation, we have to understand where we're at with each of these things. So very briefly, the definition. The definition of the victim mentality is an acquired personality trait where a person tends to regard themselves as the victim of the negative actions of others, even in the absence of clear evidence. The victim mentality depends on habitual thought processes and attributions. So there's a habit here. Like I'm seeing that. I'm defaulting to that because that's my perception.
I see.
Things happen to me.
Fundamentally, there's things that are outside of my control that are happening to me. They're the reason that my condition is bad.
Yes. On the other side of that coin, if we think about the creator mentality is an acquired personality trait. Again, both of these are acquired personality. They're not inherent.
When you say acquired, you mean practiced?
Yes. We've acquired them over time and repetition. We're not born thinking that we're a victim or that we're the creator of our own existence. So it's an acquired personality trait where a person tends to regard themselves as the creator of their experience. This way of thinking focuses on ownership and responsibility, seeks solutions and opportunities, and believes in their ability to influence outcomes. Agency. Great word. So to shorten those down, the victim mentality, when your mental or emotional state is determined by someone or something outside of yourself, it's a pretty good sign that you're in the victim mentality. If the weather is bad, so I'm in a bad mood.
Oh, perfect example.
I'm a victim.
Perfect example. I hear that so often. People are all bummed out. Oh, it's disgusting outside. Happens all the time, man.
Yeah. I heard it today because it's beautiful here right now.
Yeah, it is.
But it was like, it's too hot. I'm done with this. It's too hot already. I'm not.
Great. Move to fucking Greenland. Move to Greenland. It'll never be too hot.
Yeah. Never been to Greenland. Have you?
No. But I would like to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rough country out there.
What is that?
It's tundra.
Oh, yeah.
It's a glacier on tundra, I think.
It reminds me of Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
When they create the contract, I think it was the second or third one, where Greenland is full of ice and Iceland is very nice.
Yeah. I'm thinking about if Kim is listening to this right now, I know she's enjoying this little ADHD rabbit hole, so let's get back to the thing. Greenland aside, if the weather's bad, it doesn't mean you have to be in a bad mood.
Yes. So that's the short version for the victim mentality. The creator mentality, the short definition, takes ownership and responsibility for one's life and outcomes.
Okay, so this is, wow, it's really hot and sunny outside. Sick. I'm going to get some solar panels and plant and prune some fucking grapes. Yeah. So I have an amazing garden and blah, 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 blah.
Even easier than that is it's really hot outside. That doesn't affect me at all.
Right. What a novel idea.
It has no influence on how I feel or how I perceive the value of the day.
Yeah, well, I think that's to say that it's not going to affect me at all. It's not just that, because this is where people start saying, but what are you saying that what I'm feeling isn't real? So this is the difference between is it the event that's the problem, or is it how you're responding to the event that's creating most of the suffering?
Yep. Reacting versus responding. That leads us into the patterns of these two things. So again, these patterns for most of us, they're inherited. They depend on repetition. So this is going to hurt for some people to hear, but your beliefs around things like money, your ability to overcome adversity, a lot of these things are inherited. They're passed down to us. If it's highly likely that if your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa saw themselves as a victim of reality and the world and other people, you might have inherited some of that mindset as well.
I heard yesterday from a therapist that I really respect that your kids don't learn your kids aren't going to learn by and large from what you tell them about how to be. They're just going to learn by observing who you are and how you are. That's how they're going to become acculturated with ways of being. And it's just so powerful.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be on your best behavior all the time.
Yeah. Well, they're going to pick it up.
So that's where that's where we learned all things.
Yeah. That's where it starts.
Yeah.
Like, we have reprogramming, we have opportunities as we age, but
It's not permanent, but we pick a lot of that up.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And then it's repetition, right? Because once we believe that a story is true, we go and we seek and find evidence to support that belief. There's a difference between truth and accuracy, right? Truth is subjective reality. Accuracy is objective reality.
Perception versus perspective.
Exactly. So these patterns that we have for each of these things is very simply, perception, perspective is a good example. Language. I'm big on the language, and it's an easy entry point because you can identify very quickly by the way someone speaks about their existence where they're falling. The victim will often say that things happen to me, where the creator will say things happen for me.
I see.
And disclaimer, look, man, we've all been a victim at some point in our lives. The victim of circumstance, of
the
of someone
actual
else.
recipient of something that sucked.
Yes.
Sure.
It's not the thing that gets us. It's the rumination and the meaning that we place upon the thing that gets us. So you can have an experience where you are a victim and not cultivate the identity of a victim. So things happen to me, things happen for me. Another easy way to identify if we're in that victim mentality is victims seek to blame. They blame others. They blame others. They blame external circumstances. They blame the weather. They blame. It's always outward. Where the creators take ownership. Like, okay, this shitty thing happened. What did I do that put me in a position to have this shitty thing happen? If you didn't do anything and the shitty thing still happened, what did you do in response to that? What meaning did you apply to that on the back end? Because, look, shitty experiences on a long enough timeline can mean that you're the type of person who overcomes really shitty experiences, or it can be the thing that defines you for the rest of your life. That's the difference that we're talking about here about versus blame versus ownership. Like, what role did I play in this? If nothing, what am I choosing? What's the story that I'm choosing to believe is true about myself on the other side of that?
Yeah. Yeah. This question, what does this mean about me? Or what does this mean about you? It's a really powerful question.
Have you ever had an experience with that?
I ask myself often whenever I'm thinking badly about myself or a situation, I'll start to evaluate, well, what is it that I think this means about me? And then I'll start to get to the root of, well, what's the fear of the insecurity? And then the whole thing can just unravel a little bit more easily.
I like that. I like that a lot. We'll briefly run through the patterns of language, and credit where credit's due. This is education that I received from my good friend Mark England and his company Enlifted. And it's a really good framework for identifying. And we'll start with the easiest one. And I want you guys to think about these as two sides of a coin. Right? They're parallel, they work together. The first one is soft talk. So soft talk is the excessive use of softening words to create ambiguity and uncertainty. Maybe, possibly, probably, sort of, would like to, one day, hopefully, could, would, should. These are all examples of soft talk.
Just, kinda.
Kinda, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's more of a filler word.
It's a filler, yeah, good call.
So if you're thinking, think about your clients. Right? I love the example of, all right, so a client shows up to you and they say, yeah, I would kind of maybe possibly sort of like to get out of this pain one day if I could. What level of certainty do you have that they're the type of person who is going to be able to achieve that outcome? Very little. Why? They said that they wanted the thing, but it's because they used all of that soft talk. So soft talk is the easiest entry point because the solution for it is we just pull it all out. It's, I will get out of pain. Versus, I would maybe like to sort of, hopefully one day get out of pain. It's, I will get out of pain. some people hear this and they're like, yeah, but I mean, that makes sense for that example, but I don't want to sound too aggressive. I don't want to sound like a dick. I don't want to be too forward, because soft talk is a social nicety, right? Hey, would you maybe like to go on a date with me sometime?
I don't even think it's a nicety. I think it's delusional to think that it's a nicety. It's not in service to anyone.
I agree with that. So to soften that, if you're the type of person who uses a lot of it and you want to move towards solid talk, add the word please and smile. Right? You can think about your kid as an example. Hey, would you like to go clean your room? No, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Versus, go clean your room, please. Soft talk, solid talk. The next one is negations. So negations are the words that focus on the outcome we're trying to avoid. I don't want to be in pain. Cool. What imagery pops up for you when you use that statement?
Pain, debilitation, limitation, misery.
Exactly.
Wasted time, wasted opportunity.
Because it focuses us on the outcome we're trying to avoid. So we turn that into an affirmation, a statement of affirmation. Now, if we were to do a direct translation, is I do want to be in pain. Inaccurate. We don't want that. I do want to feel safe. I do want to be healthy. I do want to be pain-free. What do you want? That's how we change from the negative outcome focus to the positive outcome focus. That's how we change it from a negation to an affirmation. Easy. Projections and reflections are the next one. So projections are words that assign responsibility to someone or something outside of myself for who I am, what I have to think, what I have to do. She made me mad. Gives all of your power, your personal power and authority, to someone else. So what you're telling me is that your emotional state is dependent on someone else. She made me mad. When in reality, I made me mad. She hurt my feelings. I hurt my feelings. You're the one accepting this. That's the reflection. I'm the one accepting to feel this way because of this thing. So we take the projection. Projections are the blame throwers. They're the most venomous of these, and they kill relationships. Because if I'm constantly telling and remember, it's repetition. If I'm constantly telling myself that story, I'm going to go find all of the evidence that that story is true.
My boyfriend's so this, all he ever does is try to hurt me, whatever it is. Yeah.
It's the client who says that they want to make a change in their life with their nutrition, but their significant other.
He always has ice cream in the house.
Exactly. Got it. He's bringing ice cream into the house. Who's choosing to eat that ice cream?
Yep.
It's you. I'm choosing to eat the ice cream. The last one are dramatics. So dramatics are the always, the never. Right? You never listen to me. I always do the dishes. It's the absolute language. What we're really looking for there, rather than the dramatics, are the less absolute, the more spectrum language, and not being on the spectrum, but spectrum language. The often, the sometimes, because in reality, I often do the dishes. If I'm acknowledging that I often do the dishes, I have to acknowledge that you sometimes do the dishes.
You could even say, to be as accurate as possible, I perceive that I do the dishes most of the time, and it feels unfair.
That's a great use of spectrum language.
Okay.
Versus the I always do the dishes, and that's unfair. So we think about these patterns, and if you think about these all the way through, what type of reality do they create for you? They end up creating a victim or a creator mentality and a reality.
I follow.
So those are the 4 things that we're going to look at, and awareness being the first step. These are the 4 pillars that you can use to identify, okay, where am I at, so we can start to make some change. Transformation and change, perception versus perspective, understanding the definition of the victim and creator mentality, and then last and not least, the patterns of these things.
So what are some ways that you can imagine that people can start to make good use of this? Do you imagine that they write these out, that they identify one way that they can apply each of these for a week, see how it goes?
Yeah, if you're thinking about in the language perspective, right? Like, how do I start to shift the language? And I'm the type of person who uses a lot of soft talk as an example. You're going to take those, all the keywords that you can think of around soft talk, the maybe, possibly, probably, sort of, one days. You're going to write them down on a piece of paper. You're going to write them down on a piece of paper 3 to 5 times larger than you normally write. And the purpose for that, it's a pattern interruption. And then you're going to take that paper and you're going to put it somewhere that you see it every day for the next week. You can put it in your office, you can put it on the refrigerator, the bathroom mirror, because awareness is the first step. By simply seeing them, you will start to filter those things out.
Is language the key to all 4 of these, or is there a way, for example, what's a simple tactical way that people can start shifting from victim to creator?
Language is, for most people, it's the easiest entry point.
It's a big access point, isn't it?
It is, because like, we all do it every day. We use our words, and our words create stories. Stories influence beliefs. Beliefs drive behavior, and behavior ultimately cultivates identity. So we start with the words. Start there.
Any other perspective on how people can make best use of these 4 besides the words?
Yes. The last thing is often when people get, and I was certainly guilty of this, when we get education like this and we turn our reticular activating system onto things like this, we want to start seeing it in everybody else, and we want to teach it in everybody else. Start with yourself. Start with you.
Yeah. Give it 2 months before you start talking about what other people should start doing.
Yes.
Helpful. Thanks for this, Cody.
You're welcome.
I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Active Life podcast. If you did, please head to wherever you listen and leave us that 5-star rating. It really does go a long way. 5 stars goes a long way. Please leave them. If you're interested in working with us as a coach, remember, we help coaches from around the world build fulfilling careers, working with clients they're inspired to help so they never have to worry about being able to pay your bills again. No one's ever going to ask you if you are going to get a real job when you work with Active Life. All you have to do, head into the show notes, click the link that you find there, download our curriculum. That will give you a feel for what it is going to take for you to be successful. A team member of ours will reach out to you to find out if it's a fit for us to work together. Till the next show, turn pro.